This young lady said, "What if the community that I'm in is full of married mothers only, with no to very few single women and men? It only reminds me of my lack."
Mm-hmm. Oh, such a good question, Tori.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a question that, I mean, a lot of young women and men as well struggle with, when you kind of find yourself at a certain age and a lot of your friends end up getting married and having kids, and you end up maybe being the only single person still in your group.
Yes. So a couple thoughts for that. So I can go to the practical, the spiritual, or like that emotional side. But I would just encourage that young woman to even think about her own singlehood and process how she feels about herself. Because maybe some barriers are there because being single is tough for her. I think about my sister who was single into her 30s. And she'd kill me for saying this and using her as an example. But that's who I'm thinking of as I think about this young lady asking this question. And so really thinking about different people's journeys, and I'm not speaking about Gabby's, her own journey was very, very specific. So generally speaking, it's that part of allowing God into that part of her heart and asking some key questions. Am I content being single? Do I trust the Lord with my life? Do I trust that He'll bring somebody in, right? Then there's the people that don't even care about marriage and they just want to have single friends because they need somebody in their season, right? And so for them, I would even talk about kind of spiritually, the church sometimes gets bottlenecked with a lot of married people because they all find each other, get married, and then all the singles are like left alone. So really thinking about, does that church meet all of your needs? Do you need to find someplace else? And that can look like you stay rooted where you're at, but you join a young professionals group at another church, right? And just to get kind of those needs met of singles in your life and meeting people, right? I think oftentimes it's like, I'm really dedicated to my church, but sometimes that community doesn't meet all of my needs.
Right. And I think it's important to be like, I'm not stuck, and don't have to stay only with this group of people for my whole life.
Right. And so you can stay at that church, you can go find another one, but to find some friends. So, Tori, I was really struggling with some friends back in the day, just needing women in my life I could connect with. And it just felt like, so I am married, but all my friends had kids. And I was like, okay, I'm a career woman. I'm driven by my career. Everyone's stay-at-home moms. They don't understand that I have to be cussed out by DYS kids every single day and work as a therapist. I'm on call, right? Like very professionally driven. And so I joined a book club. And that's kind of where my community came from. It wasn't through church. I just knew somebody who was starting one in my neighborhood and I joined it. And God just blessed me with a group of women who could kind of like come alongside me, who were kind of in that same season or who were empty nesters. And so they kind of could have gone back into that season. So just be creative. I think so many people stay stuck in places or even out of loyalty staying. And it's like, it's okay. There's no shame. Go find some new friends.
Yeah. I'm all about it. Yeah. I think, and you touched on both of these. So, you can create some new community, find some new community, and also pinpoint those areas of discontentment, find those spots that like, why does this make me feel lacking the way that it does, but I think you touched on both of those so beautifully. And I love the example, I mean, even of your sister and yourself, and the experiences that you've had. And, I'm in that season of being, newly married and content with no kiddos yet. And a lot of my friends are trying or pregnant or have kids, and it is a very different season. So, I mean, I love that you touched on kind of both of those.
Yeah. And Tori, I just want to speak to just the listener in general. Friendship is tough for everybody. So not just this one young person who's struggling because all of her friends are married and have kids and she's struggling. It's tough for all of us, right? Even the person that has a ton of friends, they might not be close and it might just be superficial. And so not to judge yourself by looking at somebody else's image and comparing. I just want to say friendship is tough for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you just validating that because it's so true.